Have you ever reached for your favorite product at the grocery store only to find an empty shelf staring back at you? That frustrating moment is about to become your new normal. What we're experiencing now is merely the calm before the storm. By April 2025, just months away, your entire shopping experience is about to undergo a dramatic transformation. I've spent months investigating supply chains, speaking with industry insiders, and analyzing agricultural data. What I've uncovered will change how you shop forever. In this video, I'm revealing the 10 everyday items that experts predict will vanish from shelves by early 2025. And trust me, number one will completely upend your weekly shopping strategy. Global supply chains are facing their most significant challenges since 2023. Recent World Trade Organization data reveals an alarming 15% decline in agricultural exports from key producing regions. Combine this with increasingly extreme weather events decimating crops worldwide, and we're facing what economists call a perfect storm of shortages. April 2025 represents a critical turning point as it marks the expiration of international trade agreements that have maintained price stability. Major retailers are already quietly issuing warnings about inventory gaps, while industry insiders report suppliers struggling to meet even basic demand. But before you panic buy everything in sight, let me break down exactly which items you need to be strategic about. Some of these will shock you, while others explain changes you've likely already noticed in your local stores. Number 1. Premium chocolate. Chocolate lovers, brace yourselves for some bittersweet news. That premium chocolate bar you casually toss into your cart? It's about to become a luxury few can afford. I recently spoke with a chocolate industry insider who revealed something staggering. Cocoa prices have exploded to an unprecedented $8,000 per ton, the highest in nearly half a century. To put this in perspective, your $5 premium chocolate bar could soon cost $15 or more, and we're already seeing the effects ripple through the market. The heart of this crisis lies in West Africa, specifically Ghana and Ivory Coast, the Saudi Arabia of cocoa production, responsible for 60% of the world's supply. These regions are currently experiencing their worst drought in decades. Imagine trying to grow anything when your soil has the consistency of beach sand. Farmers who have cultivated cocoa for generations are abandoning their crops entirely. Why? They're battling not just drought, but also the devastating swollen shoot virus, essentially a death sentence for cocoa trees. Once infected, recovery is nearly impossible. Meanwhile, those iconic chocolate factories in Switzerland and Belgium face their own challenges. They're not just paying astronomical prices for cocoa, they're also contending with sugar shortages and energy costs that have skyrocketed. It's a triple threat to your chocolate supply. Have you noticed anything different about your favorite chocolate bars lately? They're undergoing subtle transformations, less cocoa, more fillers, and somehow the packages are shrinking while prices climb. This practice, known as shrinkflation, is becoming standard across the industry. Even luxury chocolate makers like Lindt and Godiva have increased prices by 30% since last fall, with more hikes on the horizon. Perhaps most telling, Switzerland, the country that practically invented premium chocolate, has reported a 15% reduction in high-end chocolate production. That's like Italy announcing they're cutting back on pasta production. The reality is we're heading toward a two-tier chocolate market. Mass-produced milk chocolate will remain available, but with altered recipes, more sugar, more substitutes, less cocoa. Those beautiful single-origin dark chocolate bars with exotic flavor profiles? They're rapidly becoming the caviar of the candy world. Here's my advice as someone who's been monitoring this market closely. If you spot your favorite premium chocolate bars at regular prices, especially those with high cocoa content, consider it a rare find. Perhaps purchase a few extra without going overboard, as chocolate does have a shelf life. Store them in a cool, dark place around 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and they'll remain good for about a year. Think of it as your chocolate emergency fund. Number 2. Certain rice varieties. Let's talk about rice, that seemingly endless, affordable staple that forms the foundation of countless meals worldwide. Those days of grabbing any rice variety without a second thought? They're disappearing faster than cookies at a children's party. Major rice-producing regions across Asia are experiencing what scientists call a catastrophic convergence of disasters. We're witnessing the worst droughts in 4 decades, and the consequences are dire. India, which typically feeds a third of the world's population with its rice output, has implemented unprecedented export restrictions. The situation in Thailand, known as the world's rice bowl, is equally alarming. Their production has plummeted by 40% compared to last year. Many of their famous rice fields now lie barren, cracked earth where lush paddies once thrived. Meanwhile, China, typically self-sufficient in rice production, recently made its largest rice purchase in recorded history, buying massive quantities from Thailand and Vietnam. This global rice scramble directly impacts your dinner table. Those aromatic jasmine rice varieties that perfect your stir-fry and the premium basmati that elevates your curry, these specific varieties are being hit hardest. During my recent Costco visit, I noticed something unprecedented. Signs limiting customers to 3 bags maximum per purchase. Price tags have surged 35% since last winter, and experts warn we're only seeing the beginning. The International Rice Research Institute isn't just concerned about next year's harvest. They're raising alarms about the entire future of rice cultivation. Climate change is fundamentally altering growing conditions. In Vietnam's Mekong Delta, Asia's Rice Bowl, saltwater intrusion is transforming once fertile fields into salty wastelands. Farmers who have cultivated rice for generations are watching their livelihoods literally dissolve. Those predictable monsoon patterns that rice farmers have relied upon for centuries, they've become as unpredictable as a weather app with poor reception. The entire ecosystem of rice production is under threat. But I'm not here to simply deliver dire news without practical solutions. When you find your preferred rice variety, especially basmati or jasmine, consider strategically stocking up. Rice stores remarkably well for years have kept dry and protected from pests. Start exploring alternatives like quinoa, farro, and barley. They're transitioning from trendy options to essential backups. Here's an insider tip. Look for American-grown rice varieties. States like Arkansas and California are rapidly expanding production, and while they can't fill the global gap, they may provide more reliable supply in the coming shortage. The rice situation serves as a preview of our changing food system. It's not just about one ingredient, but a wake-up call about the interconnectedness of our global food supply. Number 3. Frozen vegetables. Those frozen vegetables in your freezer that save countless weeknight dinners? I've been investigating this industry deeply, and what I've discovered is genuinely shocking. Remember when we could grab any bag of frozen broccoli or peas without hesitation? Those days are melting away faster than ice cream on a summer day. The massive processing facilities, buildings spanning several football fields, in places like Idaho and Washington State are operating at just 60% capacity. Not because they're unwilling to process more vegetables, but because they physically cannot. These plants that once operated continuously now sit idle for hours due to critical skilled labor shortages. While demand for frozen vegetables has exploded, jumping 35% since last year, the industry faces what insiders call a perfect storm of challenges. The aging infrastructure, much of it built during the 1980s, desperately needs modernization. Approximately 40% of these facilities must either upgrade or shut down entirely. Why? New environmental regulations are tightening requirements, demanding cleaner, more efficient operations. Let me give you a glimpse behind those factory doors. Modern vegetable processing isn't simple conveyor belt work. It requires sophisticated flash freezing technology and highly trained operators. I recently spoke with a facility manager, let's call him Mike, who revealed they're functioning with half the necessary staff. These aren't positions you can fill overnight. It takes months to properly train someone to operate these complex machines that preserve vegetables while maintaining their nutritional integrity. The impact on your grocery budget and meal planning is immediate. Those budget-friendly mixed vegetable bags that once cost $2.99 are becoming increasingly scarce. The premium products, perfectly cut broccoli and cauliflower florets, are next on the endangered list because they require additional careful handling. Those convenient steam-and-bag vegetables that have rescued countless weeknight dinners might become luxury items by early 2025. Here's my practical advice based on extensive industry tracking. When you encounter your favorite frozen vegetables, especially family-sized bags, Purchase a reasonable amount. Focus on basics like peas, corn, and mixed vegetables. These are your best bets for continued availability. Your freezer isn't unlimited storage, and these products typically maintain quality for about 8 months. The silver lining? This crisis is driving innovation. Some companies are exploring new preservation methods that could revolutionize vegetable storage. Others are investing in automated systems to reduce labor dependencies. Until these solutions are fully implemented, expect significant changes in the frozen food aisle. Number 4. Coffee beans. Let's talk about coffee, the morning ritual that millions of us depend on to function. Yes, this one hits close to home for me too. Remember when coffee was just a standard, affordable part of your day? Those times are rapidly coming to an end. The coffee industry is experiencing unprecedented disruption. Brazil, which produces approximately 40% of the world's coffee, just reported their lowest harvest in 15 years, down by a staggering 30%. We're not discussing specialty beans exclusively. This affects your everyday morning brew. But it gets worse. Colombia, another coffee powerhouse, is battling a devastating disease called coffee leaf rust. This fungal invader is destroying coffee plants faster than farmers can replant them. Recent satellite imagery shows that suitable growing areas have contracted by 25% just since last year. The climate changes we've been hearing about for years, they're hitting coffee farms with particular ferocity. The International Coffee Organization recently released data showing that extreme weather events have damaged nearly half of Vietnam's Robusta crops, the varieties used in your instant coffee and espresso blends. What does this mean for your daily cup? Industry experts predict coffee prices will surge by 150 to 200% by early 2025. Specialty coffee shops are already quietly stockpiling beans, while major chains are subtly reducing cup sizes while maintaining prices. That's right, you're not imagining that your coffee appears smaller lately. My recommendation? If you spot your favorite coffee brand on sale, especially whole beans, purchase them. When stored properly, coffee beans can last up to 6 months. Consider exploring coffee alternatives, though let's be honest, is there truly a substitute for that perfect morning brew? Number 5. Certain olive oil varieties. That bottle of olive oil in your kitchen? It might soon become your most precious culinary possession. I've been monitoring this situation for months, and what I'm about to share isn't just another food shortage story. It's an unprecedented crisis about to impact your kitchen and wallet severely. Visualize the stunning olive groves of Spain and Italy stretching endlessly across the landscape. These two countries have traditionally dominated global olive oil production, generating 70% of the world's supply. Today, those picturesque groves are transforming into dust bowls. We're witnessing the worst drought in over 1,200 years. And no, that's not a typo. Recent European Space Agency satellite images show these once verdant valleys turning brown, with some regions experiencing up to 80% reduction in normal rainfall. Spanish farmers recently reported their worst harvest in recorded history, losing nearly half their olive crops. Italy isn't faring any better. Their olive trees are so stressed they're dropping fruit before it ripens. Some farmers are making the heartbreaking decision to remove centuries-old trees because they simply cannot keep them alive. Remember when a bottle of extra virgin olive oil cost around $8? Those days have vanished. Prices have skyrocketed by 130% since last year, and major supermarket chains are implementing purchase limits. I recently spoke with an Italian restaurant owner who's completely revamping his menu because olive oil has become prohibitively expensive for cooking. Imagine an Italian restaurant without olive oil. It's nearly unthinkable. Here's insider information most people don't know. Those premium olive oil varieties you love, Picual, Arbequina, and those DOP certified Italian oils will disappear first. These aren't ordinary olives. They're like the thoroughbreds of the olive world, extremely sensitive to climate fluctuations. As temperatures rise, farmers simply cannot protect these delicate varieties. Reports indicate suppliers are breaking decades-long contracts because they physically cannot produce sufficient oil. It's not just climate. Transportation costs have doubled, and glass bottle shortages are exacerbating everything. Even industry giants like Bertolli and Filippo Berio struggle to meet demand. Some industry experts predict that by early 2025, premium olive oil could become as expensive as fine wine. Here's my practical advice as someone who's studied food markets extensively. If you find your favorite olive oil at a reasonable price, especially high-end Mediterranean brands, consider purchasing an extra bottle or two. Store in a cool, dark place to maximize shelf life. For alternatives, explore high-quality avocado oil or grapeseed oil. They're not perfect substitutes, but they might become your new kitchen allies as this olive oil crisis unfolds. Number 6. Specific canned fish varieties. Remember when grabbing a can of tuna for lunch was effortless? Things are getting wild in the canned fish world, and I need to explain what's happening behind those increasingly empty shelf spaces. Imagine standing in your grocery store's canned fish aisle and finding those once $2 tuna cans now priced at $5, or worse, merely an empty space where they used to be. This isn't just a bad dream. The Pacific Marine Research Institute recently released alarming data. Our oceans are warming 1.2 degrees faster than predicted, and fish populations are migrating to cooler waters. It's like an underwater game of hide and seek, except commercial fishermen are struggling tremendously to locate them. Here's the shocking part that made me spill my morning coffee. Those massive fishing vessels that typically catch tuna near Thailand and the Philippines are now consuming fuel at unprecedented rates, traveling twice the distance to find adequately sized schools of fish. We're witnessing a 40% reduction in catch rates compared to last year. That's not just a bad day at sea, it's an industry-wide crisis. Even more concerning, the small fish that tuna feed on are disappearing from their usual habitats because warming waters are disrupting their entire ecosystem. Think of it this way. If your local grocery store suddenly relocated 50 miles away, you'd likely change where you shop. That's precisely what's happening beneath the waves. No small fish means no large fish, and this is impacting the entire industry severely. The numbers are undeniable. Wholesale prices have increased 25% since January, and major companies like Bumblebee and Starkist are issuing urgent warnings. The International Fishing Commission recently reduced fishing quotas by 30% to protect remaining fish populations, like applying a bandage to a shark bite, necessary but potentially insufficient. What really concerns me is that this extends beyond tuna sandwiches. We're observing a domino effect reshaping entire ocean ecosystems, and those budget-friendly proteins many families depend on are becoming luxury items before our eyes. Don't panic buy every can you see. That only exacerbates shortages. Instead, here's my strategy. When you find a good deal, purchase a reasonable extra amount. Consider your normal monthly consumption and perhaps add a slight buffer. This is about smart preparation, not doomsday stockpiling. Here's an insider tip. Watch for lesser-known brands. While major names struggle, some smaller companies working with local fishing fleets are maintaining relatively stable prices. They might not be familiar brands, but sometimes the best discoveries come from trying something new. Number 7. Some dairy products. Let's discuss what's happening with your dairy favorites. Remember when a gallon of milk cost under $4? Those days are vanishing faster than ice cream on a hot summer day. Here's the untold story. 3 of America's largest dairy producers quietly merged last month, now controlling 47% of our dairy supply. Sounds boring, right? But here's how it affects your wallet. With reduced competition, these mega corporations dictate prices. That's not even the biggest issue. Dairy farmers are facing unprecedented challenges. Feed costs have surged 32% since last year, and extreme weather makes maintaining healthy, comfortable cows increasingly difficult. A Wisconsin farmer told me he's spending nearly twice as much to produce the same amount of milk as 2 years ago. What does this mean for you? Expect popular items like Greek yogurt, premium cheese, and organic milk to either disappear from shelves or become luxury purchases. Warning signs are already visible. Major supermarket chains reported 40% more dairy shortages last quarter compared to the previous year. Here's the surprising twist. Alternative dairy products aren't immune. The same supply issues affecting conventional dairy are impacting oat and almond milk producers. Whether you prefer dairy or plant-based options, your breakfast routine may require significant adjustments by April 2025. Number 8. Citrus fruits. Let's discuss something that might shock your morning routine. Citrus fruits. Those vibrant oranges, lemons, and grapefruits that brighten your kitchen counter are facing what experts call the great citrus crisis of 2025. And no, I'm not being dramatic. Florida, traditionally America's orange paradise, is experiencing its worst harvest since World War II. Production has plummeted from 400 million boxes annually to barely 20 million. That's like an entire city vanishing overnight. And it gets worse. Those picture-perfect California oranges you see in premium grocery stores? Recent satellite imagery reveals frost damage across 60% of growing regions. I spoke with a farmer last week who shared something truly chilling. They're uprooting entire orchards because they simply cannot keep the trees alive. This isn't just a temporary setback, it's a fundamental shift in American agriculture. Here's where this directly impacts your wallet. Remember when a bag of oranges cost roughly the same as your favorite coffee? Those days are disappearing faster than New Year's resolutions. Major retailers report citrus prices have already increased 35% since last summer, and we're only witnessing the beginning. Spanish and Moroccan imports, which typically help fill supply gaps, are facing their own crises. Extreme weather patterns have reduced their harvests by half, and what little they can produce is stuck in ports because shipping costs have skyrocketed. Let me share an industry secret. Even luxury grocery stores are struggling to maintain citrus supplies. Those special blood oranges from Sicily? They might become as rare as unicorn sightings. And that key lime pie you love making? Start considering alternatives because key limes are becoming the gold standard of the fruit world. I'm not here to spread doom without solutions. Here's what informed shoppers are doing. They're learning creative preservation methods. Zest your lemons and freeze them in ice cube trays with olive oil. Purchase oranges when available and dehydrate them for future use. Here's a professional tip most people miss. Meyer lemons, usually available in winter, can be preserved in salt for up to a year. Your future self will thank you when making that amazing citrus chicken costs triple what it does now. The bottom line? The citrus situation isn't just a temporary inconvenience. It's a wake-up call about the vulnerability of our food supply. While we cannot control weather patterns or global shipping, we can become more strategic about shopping and preserving these liquid gold fruits. Number 9. Premium pet food brands. If you have a furry friend at home, this next shortage will hit close to heart. Premium pet food brands, the ones listing real meat as the first ingredient, are facing serious challenges. Let me explain what's happening behind the scenes. Those high-quality protein sources comprising your pet's favorite food are becoming increasingly scarce. I'm talking about wild-caught fish, free-range chicken, and grass-fed beef. Recent industry reports show major pet food manufacturers struggling with a 30% shortage in premium protein sources. Here's the critical factor many pet owners don't realize. It's not just about the meat. Remember those special supplements and vitamins added to premium formulas? 3 of the largest vitamin suppliers for pet food companies have recently reported significant production delays. One factory in Singapore, responsible for 40% of pet food vitamin premixes, had to temporarily shut down operations. The situation worsens for grain-free formulas. Those alternative ingredients like sweet potatoes and lentils are experiencing price increases of up to 45%. Smaller pet food companies have already begun discontinuing certain product lines as ingredients become unavailable or prohibitively expensive. What does this mean for your beloved pets? Those specific formulas your dog or cat loves might vanish from shelves entirely. We're already seeing warning signs. Major retailers limiting purchases to 2 bags per customer in some regions. Even industry giants like Blue Buffalo and Royal Canin are warning about potential recipe adjustments. Here's my advice. If your pet currently thrives on a specific premium formula, consider consulting your veterinarian now about possible alternatives. You might want to gradually transition them to a new food before their current favorite becomes difficult to find or undergoes significant recipe changes. Number 10. Specific condiments. Let's dive into something that might surprise you. Your favorite condiments are about to disappear, and I'm not just talking about 1 or 2 fancy brands. The entire condiment industry faces what experts call the perfect storm of shortages. Remember the sriracha shortage that had hot sauce enthusiasts hoarding bottles? That was merely a preview of what's coming. I've been tracking agricultural reports, and the figures are staggering. Those vibrant chili pepper fields in Southeast Asia supplying most hot sauce producers are yielding 40% less than last year. Farmers in Thailand and Vietnam are watching their crops wither under record-breaking heat waves, temperatures that would make even peppers sweat. But here's where it gets fascinating. And yes, this affects more than just your spicy favorites. The mustard situation resembles a slow-motion train wreck. Those picturesque golden fields in Canada and France aren't so golden anymore. Mustard seed production has plummeted to levels unseen in 7 years. Here's the crucial detail most people don't realize. Farmers can't simply recover next season. It requires a full 2-year cycle to bounce back from a poor harvest. That means when you squeeze that mustard bottle in 2025, you're tasting the success or failure of farming decisions made in 2023. I recently learned something revealing from an industry insider. The major condiment companies, those advertising during the Super Bowl, are essentially playing monopoly with raw materials. They're purchasing everything available, leaving smaller manufacturers without access to ingredients. That amazing small batch hot sauce you discovered at the farmer's market? The producer might soon be unable to source ingredients at all. The statistics tell a sobering story. Distribution networks report a 40% decrease in order fulfillment for specialty condiments. Production costs have increased by 35% since last year. Many manufacturers face an impossible choice: dramatically raise prices or significantly reduce production. Most are choosing to produce less rather than risk pricing themselves out of the market. Here's a real-world example that hit close to home. A local hot sauce maker I've followed for years just announced they're suspending production of 3 of their 5 flavors. Why? The cost of their specialty peppers has tripled, and they can't even secure guaranteed supply contracts. If you think switching to basic table condiments solves the problem, I have news. Even major manufacturers are quietly streamlining their product lines, focusing exclusively on bestsellers. Those unique flavors and limited editions you love? They're likely first on the chopping block. Professional tip from someone who's been monitoring this industry closely. If you spot your favorite condiments, especially small batch or specialty varieties, don't wait for a sale. Today's price might be the best you'll see for a long time, and some products might not return to shelves at all in 2025. Before wrapping up, let's focus on what you really need to watch out for. Premium chocolate and coffee will likely disappear first, followed closely by specialty condiments and certain olive oil varieties. But here's the good news: you have options. Start exploring local coffee roasters who source directly from farmers. Consider stocking up on shelf-stable alternatives like instant coffee or coffee concentrates for cooking. For olive oil, grab some avocado or grapeseed oil. They're excellent substitutes in many recipes. And those specialty condiments? Learn to make simple versions at home. I'm not suggesting panic buying; that only exacerbates shortages. Instead, be strategic. Start building a flexible pantry now, perhaps adding one extra item each shopping trip. My biggest recommendation: build relationships with local producers and small shops. They'll become your best resource when these shortages intensify. Are you prepared for these changes? Which item on this list surprised you most? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and any strategies you're implementing. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to stay ahead of these grocery challenges. I'm dedicated to bringing you the insider knowledge you need to navigate our changing food landscape. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next video on how to prepare your pantry for what's coming.